Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Los Banos Talk. My name is Justin Collins. Tonight's episode, we're going to talk about the school district's recent decision to return back to full 5 day a week traditional schedule in person learning for next school year. We'll talk about what that's going to look like and what the superintendent recently has said about it and the recent letter that was sent out to parents. We'll get into all of that in more detail in just a moment, right after a brief message from our sponsor.
Have you been thinking about going solar? You know it's a good investment, but maybe you're that guy who's been diligently doing his homework, tirelessly searching the internet for the best possible deal and the best possible time to go solar. Well, I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't wait any longer. I'm sure you've heard the classic saying that time is money, but that couldn't be any more true than now. And you see, the reason isn't just because the fact that you're missing out on savings. The reason also has to do with the federal government. And the reason is the federal solar tax credit. In 2019, it was worth 30%. Right now, it's 26% because Congress extended it through 2022. But in 2023, it'll be gone. Recently, the city of Los Banos has partnered with Pacific Clean Energy, meaning that we'll get more rebates for switching to electrical appliances and more money per kilowatt hour for our solar panels. You can't afford to wait any longer. So do yourself a favor and take out your phone and call Superior Solar at 866-589-5626. That's 866-589-5626. Or visit them at superiorSolarInc.com. Superior Solar. Power up with the sun.
And we're back. Thanks for watching. So at the last school board meeting on May 13th, the superintendent reminded everyone that we are going back to a traditional in-person style learning 5 days a week. And there are options available to parents if they don't want to go back to in-person learning. Let's take a listen.
As a reminder, as far as next year, we'll be coming back 5 days a week, regular schedule. Again, 5 days a week, regular schedule. And the district has been surveying families about their intentions. Please help us and fill that survey out. We need to know, if you're coming back or not.
So there you have it, folks. We're going back to in-person 5 day a week traditional style learning, but the district still wants to know from the parents, are you planning on coming back? What's your intentions? How do you feel about this? Et cetera, et cetera. And they really want your input. And so there's a survey going out, as he just mentioned, and I'm going to show you right now where to find it. So right now we're at the Los Banos Unified School District homepage, and you can get here by going to losbanosUSD.org. Once you're here, click blog and click current blogs. Once you're here at the current blogs, you'll see this 429 parent letter and return survey. Click there. This is the link for the English survey, and this is the link for the Spanish survey. And then in regards to the letter sent to the parents, here's the letter. And it once again states, as we end an unprecedented year and begin to plan for next year, the Los Banos Unified School District thanks all of you for your support as we work together to educate your children this year. As long as conditions and state guidelines permit, it is our intent to begin the 2021-2022 school year in person 5 days a week following a traditional schedule. We recognize that much will depend on the guidance from the California Department of Health and California Department of Education when we begin school in the fall. We have been encouraged by progress made in vaccine distribution and the decrease in case rates for COVID-19 countywide, and feel that conditions will be such that school can begin normally for all students and families. We recognize that even if conditions have improved, some of you will still feel concern with regards to your students returning to school in person. To that end, LBUSD will provide students with the option to continue virtually. Students in grades K through 6 may enroll in the LBUSD virtual learning program. Students in grades 7 through 12 who do not wish to return for in-person learning may enroll in an independent study program at Crossroads Alternative Education Center. In order to plan and provide staffing for our programs, we ask that you fill out the LBUSD 2021-2022 plan survey for each of the students in your household. The survey can be found at the link below. In this time of uncertainty and change, LBUSD is committed to providing each student with a strong, rigorous educational experience, regardless of the instructional model. We look forward to starting school with your students in the fall. And it was signed Sean Ritchie, the Chief Academic Officer. So, important things to note here are that if you don't want your child to go back to in person learning, you don't have to. You need to let the district know that that's the case, but you have an option to do virtual learning programs. So, if your students in K through 6, they can continue virtually, and students 7 through 12 can also do an independent study program through the Crossroads Alternative Education Center. So, those are your options if you don't wish to return to traditional in person learning. But again, they really need you to fill out the survey so that way they know what your intentions are and they have a better idea of how much accommodation they really need to do and where to allocate resources. Now, another thing you probably noticed in all of this is that it is contingent on California state guidelines, and that's true. So, what will school look like when we return this fall? Well, in some ways, it's hard to say because we really don't know what the guidelines are going to be, and they're constantly changing. But what we do know is that starting June 15th, California essentially reopens. And what exactly that means is that those who've been vaccinated no longer have to wear masks, no longer have to practice social distancing. But that's just people who've been vaccinated. And currently, it's only recommended that people 12 and up get vaccinated. So, what about younger children and students? Well, logically, that would mean, unless something changes, that they would still have to wear a mask. And currently, the social distancing guidelines were changed from 6 feet to 3 feet. Now, realistically speaking, virtually everyone, there's no more capacity limits, etc. So, virtually everyone, I guess, could theoretically come back to class. But depending upon your vaccination status, depending upon other things, might vastly change what your experience would be. It begs questions. Are they going to check and see, are you going to be, if you're over 12, are you going to be required to have the vaccine in order to return to school? Or is it optional? And if so, you have to wear a mask if you're not. And how would that be enforced? Are they going to say no masks for everyone over 12? Or are they going to say masks? Or are they just going to make everyone wear masks but go back to in person learning? It's kind of hard to say. I think those details still need to be worked out, but needless to say, right now, if we're looking at what our current guidelines are, whether you can stop the social distancing and not wear a mask, if we're going by the book and by the rules and suggestions that have been put out, it's contingent on vaccine status. So what our district will decide to do and how that's going to look like will be interesting to see, and I'm sure more information on that is going to come out as time comes out. But right now, what we do know is that at least in-person learning will resume 5 days a week traditionally, and so you don't have to worry about online based learning so much anymore. So there's at least that to look forward to. And additionally, I would say it's pretty safe to say that most likely sports are going to be able to resume more or less as normal as well. They might require the COVID testing like they've done so far this last year, but otherwise it should be more or less, I think, kind of normal. So I can't tell you for sure exactly how normal this upcoming school year will be, but I can tell you that your student will be back in the classroom if you want him or her to. If you haven't already, please like, follow, subscribe to Los Banos Talk. We have Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and of course, losbanostalk.com. You can become a supporter of Los Banos Talk for just $4.99 a month and gain access to all the videos first and ad-free. Plus, gain behind-the-scenes bonus content and opinion pieces. Once again, my name is Justin Collins, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.